Picture this, a man in his 60s, his best years supposedly behind him, staring at the end of his life's work. He had a small roadside restaurant, a local spot people loved, but progress, in the form of a brand new interstate highway, had bypassed him completely. His business was finished. All he had left was a few pots and pans, a pressure cooker, and a secret recipe for fried chicken he had perfected over decades. This man was not some young culinary genius fresh out of school. This was Harland Sanders, a man who had already lived a full, tough life. He was about to embark on the journey that would make him an icon, transforming him into the world-famous Colonel Sanders, the face of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Most people associate KFC with a global fast food machine, a bucket of chicken that appears on tables from Shanghai to London. But the story isn't about a corporation. It's about this one man, stubborn and proud, who refused to let failure be his final chapter. He wasn't born with a silver spoon, and he certainly wasn't a military colonel. That title was an honorary one from the state of Kentucky, a nod to his contribution to the local cuisine. He simply took that title and ran with it, creating a character, a persona that people could trust. The story of KFC is the story of a man who believed, with every fiber of his being, in the power of a single, perfectly cooked piece of chicken. His vision wasn't grand, not at first. He didn't dream of a worldwide empire. He just wanted people to taste his food. Harland Sanders' early life was anything but easy. It was a relentless series of hard knocks that would have broken a lesser man. Born in 1890 in Indiana, he lost his father at the age of 5. As the oldest sibling, the responsibility of caring for his younger brother and sister fell on his shoulders while his mother worked. This is where his culinary journey began. Not in a fancy kitchen, but out of sheer necessity. He had to learn to cook for his family. He quickly discovered he had a knack for it. And more importantly, he found a sense of purpose in feeding others. His career path was a winding road of seemingly random jobs. He was a farmhand, a streetcar conductor, a railroad fireman, a steamboat operator, a lawyer for a very short time, and an insurance salesman. He tried and failed at more ventures than most people attempt in a lifetime. Each job taught him something. He was constantly moving, constantly searching for his place in the world. The turning point came when he was running a Shell service station in Corbin, Kentucky, during the Great Depression. Travelers would stop for gas, often hungry from their journey. Sanders, ever the opportunist, saw a need. He started cooking meals for them in the small back room of the station, serving them at his own dining table. He cooked simple, hearty country fare: country ham, steaks, pan-fried chicken. His little gas station kitchen became so popular that he eventually moved across the street to a motel with a 142-seat restaurant. This was Sanders Court and Cafe, the true birthplace of KFC. He obsessed over his fried chicken. Pan frying was too slow. Deep frying was faster, but wrong. Then he discovered the commercial pressure cooker, and, in a stroke of genius, modified it into a pressure fryer. The pressure fryer locked in moisture and flavor. Combined with his secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, he had solved the puzzle. For years, Sanders Court and Cafe was a massive success. It was a destination, but his success rode a single ribbon of asphalt: Route 25. In the mid-1950s, the government announced Interstate 75. The new highway would bypass his town and his restaurant. The steady stream of customers was about to dry up. At an age for retirement, Sanders faced financial collapse. He eventually sold the restaurant at a loss. At 65, he had almost nothing but a pressure fryer and a secret recipe. From that rock-bottom moment came his bold idea. If customers couldn't come, he would bring the chicken to them. Sanders loaded his car with equipment and his seasoning, and he drove across the country, town to town. He walked into diners unannounced and pitched the owner. He offered to cook for them and their staff. If they liked it, he'd teach them his method. He'd license them to sell Kentucky Fried Chicken. He asked for 4 cents per piece as royalty. He'd just invented modern restaurant franchising on the fly. The journey was a grueling marathon of rejection. Legend says he was rejected over 1,000 times, but roughly every 100 doors, one creaked open. The first franchisee was Pete Harmon in Salt Lake City. Harmon's sales skyrocketed. That success proved the concept. Slowly, One restaurant at a time, the empire began to be built. It was a crazy idea, but, well, it was the only one he had. Section 4. The Colonel's Uniform, Crafting an Unforgettable Brand. As his franchise network slowly grew, Harland Sanders understood something profound. He wasn't just selling chicken, he was selling a story. He was selling trust. He needed an image, something that would instantly communicate quality, tradition, Southern hospitality. He had been made an honorary Kentucky colonel years earlier, and he decided to fully embrace the persona. He grew a goatee, dyed it white to match his hair, and began wearing his iconic white suit. It was a brilliant piece of personal branding. The suit was distinctive, elegant, and made him look like a gentleman of a bygone era. The white suit and black string tie became his uniform. He wore it everywhere, to franchisee meetings, to public appearances, and in every photograph. It made him instantly recognizable. When people saw the Colonel, they saw Kentucky Fried Chicken. He became the living, breathing embodiment of his brand. Sanders was the original influencer. His face, his smile, and his story were inextricably linked to the product. He was the trustworthy grandfather figure who guaranteed that every piece of chicken would be as good as the one he first made in his own kitchen. He really made that promise personal. Section 5. Expansion and Explosive Growth, From a Car Trunk to a Global Empire. The franchise model, once it gained momentum, proved to be an engine of explosive growth. By the early 1960s, just a few years after Sanders started his journey from the trunk of his car, there were over 600 Kentucky Fried Chicken locations across the United States and even in Canada. The business had become too big, too complex for one man to manage. The logistics of supplying the secret seasoning, managing contracts, and marketing the brand on a national scale were overwhelming. At the age of 73, Sanders realized that his creation had outgrown him. He had built the foundation, but he needed someone else to build the skyscraper. In 1964, he made the difficult decision to sell the American rights to his company to a group of investors led by John Y. Brown Jr. and Jack C. Massey for $2 million. A fortune at the time. However, Sanders was too intertwined with the brand to simply walk away. As part of the deal, he was kept on as a salaried brand ambassador and given a permanent seat on the board. He continued to travel, visit restaurants, and appear in commercials. Under the new ownership, KFC's growth went into overdrive. The company went public, and a standardized system of franchising was implemented. The iconic red and white striped bucket, designed by franchisee Dave Thomas, who would later found Wendy's, became a symbol of family dinner and convenience. The company expanded its menu and ramped up its advertising, turning KFC into a household name and one of the world's first truly global fast food chains. By the 1970s, KFC restaurants were opening in Japan, the United Kingdom, and Australia, introducing the Colonel's secret recipe to a whole new world of customers. Colonel Harland Sanders passed away in 1980 at the age of 90, but the legacy he built is more enduring than ever. Today, there are tens of thousands of KFC restaurants in more than 150 countries and territories around the world. His face is one of the most recognized logos on the planet, a symbol of a simple meal that brings people together. The company has changed hands many times and has adapted to countless cultural and culinary trends, yet the core of what Sanders created remains untouched: a secret recipe and a story of a man who refused to give up. His journey is a testament to the power of a good idea, no matter how simple it seems. The most important lesson from the Colonel's life is not about cooking or business strategy. It is about persistence in the face of absolute despair. He found his true calling and achieved his greatest success at an age when society told him his useful life was over. He turned failure into his fuel, rejection into his motivation. He didn't have a business degree or a wealthy benefactor. He had a product he believed in and an iron will to see it succeed. That combination is more powerful than any amount of capital or connections. His life teaches us that a brand is more than just a logo or a slogan. It is a promise. The Colonel's white suit and warm smile were a promise of quality, a personal guarantee from the man who created the meal. He understood that people connect with stories. and his own life was the best story he could tell. He built an empire on hard work, authenticity, and a fanatical dedication to his craft. He showed the world you can build a global brand by staying true to your roots and never compromising on what makes you special.